All right, so this next problem is the word problem, and it starts out all wordy, talking about long jumper, angles, blah, blah, blah. If you were in physics, then all you would have to go on would be the angle and the speed and stuff, and then you'd have to create the equation by yourself. But we're not in physics, so they actually give you the equation. So we don't have to worry about all that word problem stuff in the beginning. So we know the equation, and they say at what horizontal distance does the maximum height occur? So at what horizontal distance though? So they mean they're looking for the x value. And then it says what is the maximum height? That's the y value of the vertex. All right? So anyway, um, we have this equation, and they want to know the x value and the y value for a and b. So I know h is negative b, so negative 0.364 over 2a, and a is negative 0.046. So this one's a little nastier, so we have our calculator, and it's negative 0.364 divided by, now if you're going to do the 2 and multiply, be sure to put a parentheses. So 2 times negative 0.046. And that's 3.9565. All right, so we got h. Now I'm going to find k. And all I got to do is just plug it in. So negative 0.046 squared plus 0.364 and that's where you plug in your number, 3.9565. Now, if you're using your calculator, you can take advantage of the fact that you can do second answer for the answer you just got, and it saves all the decimals. 0.046 times second answer squared plus 0.364. Oh, almost typed it in wrong. 364 times times second answer, because I don't want to retype it again. All right, and so that's 0.72. All right, so this answers the first question. So at what horizontal distance does they reach the highest point? And so he reaches the highest point at a horizontal distance of 3.90, I'll round it, so let's say 3.96 meters. So that's the answer for A. K, what is the maximum height? How high up in the air did it go? And that's this one. So 0.72. And that number seems rather small. Did I type it in correctly? Is 0.72. H is a jumper's height in meters. X is a horizontal distance. Doesn't seem that high, but anyway, I'm gonna. You know what? I'm paranoid now, so I'm just gonna grab this in Desmos because why not? Now that I have a captive audience here. So the equation is negative 0.046 x squared plus 0.364 x. Yeah. Okay, so 0.72. I don't know, that seemed a little low. All right, so the highest point achieved is 0.72 meters high. And then now we go to C. And just like the other question, C is what's the length of the jump? Well, if you go to Desmos, kind of lucky that I brought it up. The length of the jump is just, and I can write it on here, from here to here. That's the length. So they just want to know what's the distance between the x-intercepts. Well, one x-intercept is x equals 0. And again, if you can cheat on Desmos and just kind of look at it, but we're not going to cheat. But they want to find the other x-intercept, and that's going to be the total length. All right. So we're going to get the equation. First, let me shrink everything so I have room to write. Oh, didn't get it all. I'm going to have to get some of that too. All right. So we're going to, for the x-intercept, you set the equation equal to 0. Now, since there's no plus c in this equation, notice that I can immediately just take out an x. And I get negative 0.046 x plus 0.364 equals 0. So here we don't even need the quadratic formula. This tells me that the first answer equals 0, which I saw from the graph, and the other answer is negative 0.046x plus 0.364 equals 0. I can subtract that over. Negative 0.364, and I can divide that over, and so x is equal to negative 0.364 divided by negative 0.046, and I get 7.9, about 7.91. All right, and so the length of the jump, round to one decimal place, then he jumped 7.9 meters. There you go. So that's all they want you to do for that problem. And again, you can go to Desmos and check it out. 7.9. Yay! All right. Let's do this last problem, and then that's it. Suppose that a family wants to fence in an area of the yard. One side is already fenced from the neighbor's property, so there's no fence here. If the family has enough money to buy 160 feet of fencing, what dimensions should they buy? Well, if you look at this, there's only 2x plus y fencing available, and that should equal 160 feet. So that's your given. And here it's really easy to solve for y. So I'm going to just solve for y right away. 160 minus 2x. So what's the maximum area? Well, remember, area is length times width. Here, the length whereas here is the width. And so the length is y, the width is x, but I'm going to get my equation, and I'm going to plug it in for y. So a is equal to 160 minus 2x times x. So a is 160x minus 2x squared. So now we have our formula for area in terms of x, where x is the width of the fence, and we can solve it. So all you got to do is, we already know from this equation you can rewrite it. A is equal to negative 2x squared plus 160x. And so h is equal to negative b over 2a. So that's negative 160 over negative 4. And my brain's completely off right now because it's so late. So I'm just going to use my calculator. 40. So h is 40, whereas k is what you get when you plug 40 in. And here, this h is the x value. When I mean x, I mean this guy right here. Now, a is the area. It's the answer. It's the y value. So the area, when I plug it in, I get negative 2 times 40 squared plus 160 times 40. And I can just type that in my calculator. So negative 2 times 40 squared plus 160 times 40, 3,200. So this is, again, the maximum area. And that's going to be in, what are the units? Feet squared. Now, as far as this one goes, the width is 40 feet. And notice that I have a formula for y, the length. Y is just 160 minus 2x. So y is 160 minus 80. 40 times 2 is 80. So y is 80. And this is the length. So the optimal fence is 40 by 80. Okay, and that's the answer to A, whereas this down here is the answer to B. And that's it. Again, this was much easier than the problem that we did earlier. I apologize if all the fractions kind of scared everybody. But on the test, I'll probably ask something basic. My goal for the exam is that you know the basics, not that I'm trying to hurt you with uglier problems like this one. So as long as you can do the basics and understand how to solve a fence problem, you should be good to go. Anyway, hope you had a good one. Now it's time for me to get some sleep, because Gilbert needs sleep.